We're back in Springfield, last game of the night, day 2 of Nationals, and we've got the number 1 seed out of Class 5A, Dallas HSAA. They will take on the number 5 seed, the Indianapolis Wildcats, a team that rallied from behind to get the win over the Kansas City East Lions yesterday, and now they take on the number 1 seed in their side of the bracket for an opportunity to compete in the Elite Eight. I'm Charles Williams alongside Jeff Cannon bringing you this ball game right now, as the Wildcats will be in dark blue and Dallas HSAA will be in white here tonight. We are having a late tip-off, a very late tip-off. We're going to get started. It is 10:06 right now, folks. We're going to wrap this one up probably around 11:30 here.
This should be a good one. Indy was down most of the game to KC East yesterday and pulled out one in a thriller in the last couple of minutes of that game. And so I expect this to be a pretty close game. I think as we've seen from the previous games tonight, these refs are willing to let them play pretty physical. And I know HSAA likes to play physical, so maybe that gives them a bit of an advantage. We'll see. But I think we're in for another really close game. As most of these have been pretty exciting today. As we go through the week, they get closer and closer, more razor-thin margins, and a lot more entertainment value.
We're going to have Tyson Davis go for the jump ball with Nate Dove of the Indy Wildcats. As we're set to get started here, Indy Wildcats obviously out of the Midwest Dallas HSAA. They were actually the runner-ups in the Big South. And the tip will be won by Indy, and the drive, dribble off the foot out of bounds. That was Gideon Bunwa.
HSAA's got some legacies here. They've got a couple of kids whose older brothers played for years on HSAA's varsity, so it'll be interesting to see how these guys hold up the mantle from their bigger brothers. Look for Toller. He's a good shooter. He's one of these kind of spitfires that will ignite a team. It's a big family. They got a lot of kids, siblings playing for this organization.
Toller with a nice bucket there. Turnaround shot is good there for Aaron Gorley, who's able to get a bucket. He was an all-region player out of the Midwest here for the Indy Wildcats. We're tied up at 2. Nearly a minute into the first quarter. Three-pointer from deep. And that one will not go. Fought hard for and stripped away by the Indy Wildcats. Shooting that three was Braylon McCrate. And now up the floor pushing it. Right wing three on the way. Long, no good. And clearing it out on the rebound is Hudson Hayes.
Good play there by the Wildcats to not let HSAA's big come back up strong with it. They were ready. As soon as he dropped that ball below his waist, they were ready to steal it. So number 10 for HSAA's Davis, he's going to really have to make sure he's up strong on those offensive boards.
Jumper will rattle in good there for Hudson Hayes, who gets on the board. 4-2 lead for the Angels. Left wing now on the attack. And tipped into the backcourt and retrieved there by Gorley.
Oh,
that ball's nearly stolen, but he's able to get it back. Outside wing attacking. Step back three on the way. Off the mark. We're going to see a whistle on the baseline, and they say it's out of bounds, heading back in the direction of Dallas. 4-2 lead for the Angels. Up the floor is McCrate.
It's going to be interesting to see how HSAA utilizes the mismatch that they're going to have with Davis.
On the three-pointer, and Hudson Hayes headed to the free throw line. Ohu Bunwa with the foul.
That's
have to
tough.
work on that one all.
They're going to need him.
And Hayes makes the first one count.
Indy's going to have to play fast here to get ahead of these bigs from HSAA. They're going to really have to stretch the floor and try and get out ahead of them, because once they get into that half-court set, they're going to have some difficult times matching up against Davis. And also number 5, Carter.
4 points for Hayes. Hits them all. He's got 5 and makes all 3 free throws. 7-2 lead for the Angels now. Wildcats on the move. Stepping back there is Gorley. He'll move to the right, driving hard, kick outside, swing to the corner.
Really
with
good
defense there is Gorley.
Really good defense here by HSAA. That's a really smart play there with that drive and kick. And we got a foul for a 4-point play.
Eli Gorley with the three-pointer and a foul inside against HSAA. And it will be against Tyson Davis.
Ooh.
They count the basket.
Oh, it's a chance for a 5-point play or even a 6-point play here.
They're going to give, interesting. They give the Wildcats the ball on the baseline as they just hit the 3 and get the ball back. Another 3 for Gorley. Oh, he nearly hit that one.
Oh, and we're going to have another foul.
Another foul against
Davis. And that's 2 straight on Davis.
2 fouls on Davis in the first 3 minutes of the game. That could prove to be trouble for the Angels.
Yep, there. Coach Carvin's going to the bench, going to put Cash in.
Davis going to come out of the ball game. Coming in is Linskog.
That is huge for Indy to put him on the bench probably for at least 5 to 6 minutes before they're going to see him again. So now's the time for Indy to capitalize.
2-point game lead for Dallas. Outside to Gorley, Aaron Gorley, who's got the basketball. Driving to the left, back to the right. Inside, and there will be a whistle on the floor, a blocking foul.
Very interesting. We saw in the previous 2 games that the refs were really not calling much. It was they were allowing a lot of physical play, and now here we see early a lot of calls early to establish maybe a different mentality from the refs' perspective.
Oh, nice drive there for the bucket. Awubanwa.
That ties the game. They're tied up at 7.
Tied up at 7 here, and HSAA back with the basketball. They've had 2 buckets scored since they've had an offensive possession. Out on the outside is Carter. He'll take the 3.
That's another foul.
And he's fouled on the three-pointer.
These closeouts are it's interesting. I mean, that was a deep 3. That was well beyond the college arc. And I think it was the exact same spot where the previous foul occurred that sent HSAA to the line for 3 shots in an earlier possession. And Indy just can't afford to do that. You're handing them, basically 6 easy points here.
So far, 4 for 4. HSAA is Carter shooting his second and hitting that one, making him 2 for 2. So Dallas making it count right now. They're leading 9-7.
Fouls early are going to show which team has more depth at the bench. Both benches are fairly equal in terms of numbers. We're going to see how quickly these coaches rely on them and how much they can produce. This may, with the early foul trouble we're seeing, with 5 fouls already called combined, I think the bench scoring might be the difference in this game.
A steal, and Bunwa trying to get it back, and it will be a foul.
That's his second.
As he was getting in there, he's going to pick up his second personal foul.
This is drastically changing the picture of this game very early. We are only 3.5 minutes into this game, and 2 of the 2 most dominant guys on one on each team are sitting on the bench with 2 fouls.
Carter brings the screen from McCrate. He'll drive. Nice hesitation, dropping it off inside at the basket for the finish. There for Linskog. He gets the bucket. 12-7 game lead for Dallas. Pump fake, and that will be a travel against Eli Ogen.
So right now, you'd have to give the bench edge to HSAA, but we're just now seeing 32 come into the game. Reese Walker. We'll see what he has.
Carter dropping it off to Toller. Toller being physical to the basket. And it will go out of bounds. We'll stay with Dallas off the block shot. Halfway through the first quarter, 12-7 lead for the Angels.
Yeah, Toller was definitely expecting a call there. Definitely surprised he didn't get it.
McCrate will throw the ball in. 4:03 to play in the first quarter. Ball in, kick outside. The move for Hayes. Outside to Toller. Feed to McCrate. He's on the right wing. Angels coach trying to run a play here. 3:45 to play in the first quarter. Toller looking. Up top, McCrate driving hard to the left. Nice lefty floater.
Beautiful left hand
and it gets
there.
it to go down.
And
Braylon McCrate.
And recovers nicely after he was on the ground after that basket.
14-7 is the score. Gorley with the basketball. Nice little hezzy. Over to his brother.
Both these teams playing a very similar defense. Little bit of shell, but mostly sticking to the man. I think both these teams are respecting the shooting capabilities of the other team.
Eli Gorley missing that one short. Hayes with the ball. Angels now with it. McCrate bringing it across half court. They have doubled the Wildcat score. Just over 3 minutes to play first quarter. Linskog up to Carter, and he'll get the ball back from Toller. He'll pull up the J high post and knock it down.
Beautiful shot there. We saw that earlier in the last game that Thunder was hitting a lot of those early mid-range jumpers, and I think if Indy can show that, this is going to be a very close game.
Here's the move against Linskog. Outside, Eli Gorley. Feeding it over to his brother, Aaron Gorley. He'll drive against this defense, and Linskog will pick up his second personal foul. That's the fourth team foul against HSAA.
Yeah, this is an expensive endeavor to test where the refs are in terms of their temperature for physicality and for how much they're going to allow. And
Isaiah Sanders now in the game, a guy that got a lot of minutes for the Angels last year. He comes in 6 minutes into the ball game after two players get into foul trouble.
Boy, really good defense here by HSAA.
Gorley turnaround fadeaway shot, not getting the roll. Toller pulls down the strong rebound. Outlet pass to McCrate. McCrate on the attack, kick outside the corner. Carter, three, knocks it down in the face of Gorley. Xavier Carter with 8 points and a 12-point HSAA lead.
There was very little separation there. I was kind of surprised he pulled that, but he clearly knew something that we didn't.
The feed up top to Dove, Nate Dove, making his move. Outside Gorley, Aaron Gorley. Just over a minute and a half to play in the first quarter. Dove, drive, spin, up fake, cross-court pass, swing, drive, spin, swing, three on the way, air ball, and rebounded by Carter. That was Reese Walker with that three.
It was really good ball movement in the face of a lot of on-ball pressure there by HSAA. Just couldn't convert.
Just over a minute to play in the first quarter. 12-point advantage for Dallas. Feed to Hayes, left wing.
Oh, good back cut there.
Up to Sanders, pump fake. Back Hayes. Hayes driving to his left, spinning, turnaround. Jay is good. Right on balance. Nice finish. He's got 7. 21-7 Dallas. Picture perfect basketball from them. Being able to score effectively and defensively. They have just been all over it.
Yeah, Hayes showing there he has just as good of a mid-range jumper as Indy does.
Here's the spin. Lost the ball. Got it back. Setting up an open three. Well, will pop out. No good. Hayes battling for the board and gets it. Now down to 20 seconds left in the first quarter. 14-point advantage here for the Angels already as we're approaching the finish of the first quarter. Toller with it, back out McCrate, and they're going to look for the last shot here of the first quarter. Under 10 seconds. Toss to Toller. Toller the move to the right. Inside kick out.
That's going to be a charge. Yeah, he thought he could squeeze that double team, but he went right into the chest of the Indy player, and it's a good call there by the ref.
First foul on Toller, offensive foul, and now we will see 2.4 seconds left and see what the Wildcats have in store for a final shot. They sneak Ahua Banwa in the game for the Wildcats.
That's a little surprising.
And they'll toss it deep. It'll be right in the hands, wide open for a layup. A perfect play to finish the first quarter by the Indianapolis Wildcats. Wow. 21-9 after one quarter of basketball. This is late night basketball here in Springfield.
Yeah, we're going to actually stay right here. One of the things that's really exciting about this game is with all the upsets that have taken place, it's the only game that the winner of this game will be the only team left that has any history of winning an undisputed national championship. In the 34-year history, the Indy Wildcats won in 2019, and the Dallas HSAA Angels won in 2011. And with the field that's left, there's no one left that's won an undisputed title. So the winner of this game will be they'll bear that.
They'll be the lone veteran.
That's right. They're going to be walking in with that. So that's really exciting. But another part that's really cool is 2019, when the Indy Wildcats won it. Jeremy Bialik was the head coach. Paul Settle is an alumni. He's the head coach of the Wildcats now, but he was an assistant coach on that Wildcats undisputed title team, and he led the Wildcats, I think, to their first ever Elite Eight and possibly first ever Final Four, or they end up going to the Final Four briefly after his run. So it's great seeing an alumni there. And with HSAA, 2011. That was a lot longer ago, but they beat Justin Jackson and the HCYA Warriors at the buzzer during a run where HCYA I think would have had like 7 or 8 in a row, but if they cut them off, I think at 4, and then they had several years where they kept getting runner-up. Otherwise, they would have had that run there. So HSA's was a buzzer beater in front of about 7,000 people in the midst of a time where no one thought they could lose, and they had Justin Jackson coming up. And
unbelievable.
Who was the coach of that HSAA team?
Dallas HSA was coached by Paul Davis.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep, Paul Davis. Yep.
And see, those are the kind of thing, that's an element to this broadcast that I'm glad that you brought here. Yeah. And it's very interesting to hear that history of the NCHBC National Championships of Homeschool Basketball here in Springfield. 21-9 lead for the Angels here as they begin the second quarter with a commanding lead. McCrate on the move. He'll step back. A feed to Hunt, who's in the game for the first time.
Now, yeah, interesting here that Coach Carvin's already gone to the bench a little bit more. And obviously he's got a little bit of a cush of a lead, but this is going to bode well for them in the second half with fresh legs from their starters.
Backdoor pass went off the leg of Hunt right into the hands of Sanders, who finished it at the cup. And so Dallas HSAA is the first team to score here in the second half.
By the way, Davis and Aho Bunwa are both back in the game a little earlier than I would have expected, but I think the coaches both realize they need them.
23-9, McCrate, the move. Outside now to Carter.
Oh, I'm sorry. Davis is not in the game yet. That's right.
Yeah, Tyson Davis still out from being in foul trouble. He came out with 5 minutes, 22 seconds to go in the first quarter.
And HSA has a little bit of a luxury of not needing him quite yet, but
McCrate on the outside.
Indy does not have that same luxury.
Using up a little time. Carter going to take the three, and he'll miss front rim.
It's a good shot.
Rebound pulled in for Indy. There's the move outside on the wing. Dove. Kick out. Corner three.
Great pass. Really good pass there by 22.
Awabunwa with the three-pointer. He's got 5. And the lead's cut to 11. 2 minutes into the second quarter. And now Sanders on the wing. Feed to the high post. Will step out. Hayes. Up top to McCrate.
Interesting. It looks like HSAA has gone to a little bit of a matchup zone here, but Either that or they're just playing off of him a little bit.
Hayes, nice move and nice shot off the window. He's got 9 points. 13-point lead for HSAA.
Were either of you able to watch the game yesterday with the Wildcats?
Yes, I was.
Where they made that come from behind. They
That's what I was
all
saying.
game they just kind of seemed out of it.
KC East led that game almost wire to wire, and Indy came back, just chipped away, and in the last 2 minutes pulled it out.
Yeah,
And
it ended up being 7 points or something.
I think it was as much as 12.
Yeah.
Ben Owen with the tray to cut it to 10. That's the kind of thing they're going to need to happen. They need to happen to do the same thing to the number 1 seed this time in the team.
Yeah, I'm sure HSAA is clearly aware of the fact that Indy hung around all game yesterday, and even though it looked like there were a few times where KC East was just going to break it wide open, Indy just kept staying there, and when they had their opportunity, made a couple of runs and got back into it. So, we're only in the second period. It's a 10-point game, and they're showing they've got the capability to do the same thing here. And so HSA's got to be careful. They've got to be diligent here and stay with that really good defense and take good shots. I think that's what we have seen so far is both these teams really have taken very, very good shots. We haven't seen too many desperation shots, which is, a lot of credit to Indy not panicking this early in the game.
10-point lead for Dallas.
The Wildcats were known as the Cardiac Cats during Paul Settle's career. And a big part of that was the buzzer beaters they would hit for game winners, and he was a big part of that. I think he hit 3 or 4 himself during his high school career where he was hitting buzzer beaters. So if this game gets close, after what we saw last night, anything's possible. Right now, HSA definitely looks like they have an edge.
On the drive, we see a foul here against the Wildcats, and that's another one. That's his third.
No way. That is
for
wrong place, wrong time, I guess. That is, and that's why I said it. If it weren't for the fact that they were down, I don't think the Indy coach would have put him in this quickly into the second quarter, and now he's probably out for the rest of the half.
It seemed out of that timeout that HSA was committed to making that drive and putting the pressure on to see if they could pick up that third foul.
Yeah.
Pump fake kick outside. Hunt swinging to McCrate. McCrate going to drive. High post. He'll hit the back door. It goes through the hands. A steal by the Wildcats here. It's Dove pushing the pace the other way. Just over 4 minutes to go, second quarter.
I think you're absolutely right, Rob, that they're looking to drive against guys in foul trouble, and especially with McCrate, he's very quick. And if he sees a one-on-one matchup against a guy with foul trouble, it's a win-win. Either he's going to draw the foul or he's going to get an easy layup.
Aaron Corley, what a tough drive to the basket for the finish to cut it to 8 here. Under 4 minutes to go in the first half. McCrate, floater,
wow,
rattled it in good. How about that?
Great body control.
He's got 4. The swing. Oetjen. Deep 3 on the way. Short. Offensive rebound for the Wildcats. Back outside is Oetjen.
Ooh, that was a carry. Yeah, I thought
out.
he got away with it, but
yeah,
just a little delayed reaction there.
He may have, but I think his entire body language kind of just stopped. Certain things happen, and just
he might have sold that one too much.
Yeah, it was the right call, but the way these teams have been playing, especially HSAA attacking. The decisiveness and speed in which they're making their decisions is quite impressive. Even the Wildcats, some of those shots aren't falling, but they're making quick decisions and decisive.
Well, and you said McCrate's only got 4 points, but I think the intangible of what he's doing to create for his teammates is very important.
Hard drive here from Carter, and he puts it up and in. He's been a force.
Yeah, he just wills his way into that 4-foot range, and then once he does, he's got a beautiful little rotation on that shot.
He's in double figures. 12-point lead now for the Angels. Eli Gorley's 3, well off, and a hustle.
That's a good
for
call
the rebound.
Right
there's going to be a foul.
Yeah, I think this is a function of going up against HSAA's height. Is I think that Indy's just they're good shots, but they're just rushing them a little bit because they know that the closeout is coming, and it's going to be they don't want to see that block come. But they're good looks, and they're just going to have to make sure they've got enough gap there that HSAA can't close those out.
Isaiah Sanders going to pick up the foul. Here's the drive, hard drive here from Gorley. Aaron Gorley trying to feed his brother on the cut. He'll get the ball back. He's looking, nice spin move, kick outside. Drive from Eli Gorley. Gets it outside to his brother. Dove, guarded by Carter. Drive into the interior, kick out, pump fake. Drive from Dove, inside, kick out, swing.
Those are the ones that you're only getting maybe about a half a second, but I think that's enough time. And I get it; they're looking for a better shot, which is good. But the defense for HSAA is recovering so quickly.
Yeah, they are everywhere.
They have got to drive and kick, and then be decisive about taking that shot as soon as it's there, because they're only going to have a very, very short time. HSAA is recovering so well.
To the corner, drive to the left, fake. Long possession here from the Wildcats. Step back, Jay on the way. Not there. Rebound Toller.
Watch these HSAA guys' feet. They do nothing with their hands. It is all movement of feet, and it's why they're so quick to recover, is because
even there, the way that one just stepped up right there and stopped the entire fast break while moving his feet.
Kick outside, open three there,
there
for
it is.
Ogen, and he knocks it down.
That's
from
what
the
they
corner.
got to do. If Indy can just drive and kick off of that shell recovery, they can get a lot of easy corner baskets. But they have got to make the decision that as soon as they catch it, they are pulling that trigger.
29-20. With the ball is Hudson Hayes on the kick out to Carter. We're going to get a timeout called by the coach for Dallas HSAA. We got a 29-20 ball game. The Wildcats, they're hanging around.
As good as HSAA has played in that last set between the previous timeout, Indy's actually closed the lead by one, and all they've got to do is continue to do that drive and kick and just commit to that, because I don't think they're going to see a whole lot inside, but once they open up that outside shot and can connect with a few, the inside's going to open up for them, because those guys running the shell are not going to be able to abandon away from that corner completely, which is going to open up some of those driving lanes off the wing. So I expect to see them exploit that a little bit more. But credit to HSAA, their footwork is great, their speed is really, really good, and their recovery to the on ball is fantastic.
9-point game with just over a minute to go in the first half. Last game of day 2 here at the national tournament. 29-20 lead for Dallas HSAA. They're trying to make it to this Class 5A gold ball game.
Man, none of these points are easy. It is after watching the last game, I was exhausted watching the last game, as physical and as hard fought as that game was, and close all the way up to the last really 3 minutes of the game. And I think this is going to be another one where it may come down to this second half stamina. Who's got enough in the tank to finish?
It's a nice inbounds play there.
And nice finish by Carter at the basket. Xavier Carter now with 12 points.
You know Davis is just itching to get back out on the court, but
looked like he hurt his ankle there just a little bit.
Here's Dove.
Oh, you're right. He is limping.
Got the screen, the shot, no good.
Oh, yeah, he is hurting.
Yeah, he the way they move their feet, and he looked like he caught his ankle, and he doesn't.
Yeah, he is not doing well.
Hayes is 3, good.
I don't think Coach knows it yet.
Well, at halftime, he'll either miraculously get better or it's going to get worse, just the way that ankles go.
Credit to him. He does not want to come out of this game, but he is in pain.
Yeah. He's a trooper.
Outside the swing, Ogen in the corner, making his move. Guarded by Hayes. Outside to Eli Gorley. Move to the left. Down to 5 seconds left in the first half. Kick outside. Corner 3. Not there. Tipped to the outside and will not be able to get another shot. And that's the end of the first half. The Dallas HSAA Angels with an 11-point lead after 2 quarters of basketball, 31-20 over the Indianapolis Wildcats.
When it hurts, real time it. When it hurts, real time it.
Ouch!
When it hurts, real time it. When it hurts, real time it.
Wildcats with the basketball here to begin the second half. They trail by 11 to Dallas HSAA. And with the ball, I won't call him by his first name, Gideon, number 24 for the Wildcats. He'll get the ball back. He's got 3 fouls. Gideon the drive. Kick outside in the hands of Gorley.
And Davis is back in the game.
And Tyson Davis, who's only played 2.5 minutes in this game. He's fresh. And here is the toss. The drive from Gideon, kick outside. Corner 3 from Gorley, not there front rim. Tyson Davis skies up and pulls down the board.
Yeah, he's going to, with him being fresh on inside, Indy's going to have a lot of, they're going to have to contend with potentially a lot of one-and-done possessions. So they're going to want to play fast and a lot of transition.
Davis high post turnaround shot. He'll miss it. Rebound, put back in
And
by Carter.
They can't allow HSAA to have multiple possessions in the same series. That's not good.
There's Gideon. He'll step back. The left wing, guarded by Tyson Davis.
Yeah,
Down to the corner.
We
Gorley.
knew this was going to be an interesting matchup. The difference is he's playing with 3 fouls. Davis playing with 2.
Drive, kick out. Feed inside. Gorley spinning. Pounding, kick out, foul.
So earlier this week on Monday, we had number 1 overall HHBA Lightning out of Virginia, 3-time defending regional champion in the Midwest, or 3-time regional champion where they won 26, 25, and 2024. They went down in the first round. First ever time at Nationals we've had the number 1 overall seed go down on a Monday.
Wow.
Additionally, 5-time undisputed national champion MHEA Eagles lost earlier in a thriller right here on this court. They lost to the HEA Firebirds and had a shot at the end. It wasn't a great shot, but I believe they were only down 1 when they shot it. So it was a crazy finish, but
Wow, what a great shot.
What a play to the basket there for Gideon. He's fouled, heading to the line of the
now
foul.
you see why that coach wants him in, even with 3 fouls.
He's got 7 for the Wildcats, cutting the lead to 11. They're going to try to cut it to 10 here at the foul stripe.
This is what we were talking about. They will just hang around and chip away, and HSAA has got to match them and not get upside down in possessions if they want to maintain this lead.
winner of this game will take on the HEA Firebirds, who we were just talking about, who took down the 5-time defending undisputed national champion. So definitely, all of a sudden, the route to a goal ball definitely sounds a little bit easier when you take out Memphis MHEA out of a bracket, and HEA Firebirds did everyone else a favor that's left in the tournament.
Yeah, but you know, watching these teams, there is no easy route to a goal ball. These guys are all really good. What I've noticed is they are all unafraid to be physical, and I think it makes for some really good basketball. Here we go. That's that drive and kick we were talking about, and Indy has fully embraced it.
Aaron,
and this is going to make it really interesting to see how HSAA adjusts their defense now that they're hitting.
Nice three-pointer there from Aaron Gorley, cutting the lead to 9 here. Still a ball game as the Wildcats continue to hang around. Here's a screen from Davis. And now it's McCrate kicking it out. Hayes, his shot, no good. Hustle rebound there for Gorley. Here come the Wildcats on the move, down by only 9. Setting up his brother Eli Gorley. His three, bombs away, baby.
So this is
cut to 6.
Exactly what they need is you've got the drive and kick, and then you've got transition buckets where you're faster than they are. Use your speed when you don't out height them. Use your speed, and you had a really, really good breakaway there and a wide open three.
You know, that last three had nothing to do with this, but it seems like with Gideon on the court, what ends up happening is they're able to get some space. When he's not on the court, nobody's able to beat their man quite the same. Like, probably they have the matchup with who's guarding. Everything trickles down when you take out a great offensive player. But it really feels like the offense opens up, not because he's taking shots, but because he finds the open man on his drives.
Yeah, Gideon now with it on the right wing.
I think he's kind of their, what McCrate is to HSAA, he is to Indy, and it's not about whether or not they necessarily score, but whether or not they can create for their teammates. And there you saw again, pushing it in, kicking it out, drawing a foul. Any way that you can to make these quality possessions. Indy is now starting to do it, and that's why we're seeing a 6-point game all of a sudden.
Xavier Carter picked up the foul there. Wildcats able to find the man on the inbound, but apparently there's a timeout called by Dallas HSAA.
Oh, that's a shame because that was a spectacular inbound play.
You know, it's always hard when you get a call like that wipes away a nice bucket there. But, one of the things I watched, our social media team was doing some interviews yesterday with some of the players, and one pregame, and so the players are pretty winded, and they had a mic and they were answering some questions, and one of the questions that kind of stood out to me, they asked the Manhattan Chief player, how are you going to prepare for the game, and how are you going to win? And he said the first step for us is going to be to adjust to how the referees are calling, the level of assess the physicality that they're calling. And what I'm seeing in this game here is they're calling the foul consistently if a player's beat and then there's contact. They're allowing some of that contact when it's a player moving his feet to a spot and they both get there at the same time. We saw a play where a player went flying up for a shot, and then the offensive player, they collided and there was no call. And it was one of those ones where it was probably the right decision not to make a call despite the contact. But once a player gets beat, and we've seen
that. I absolutely love that. I mean, as a coach, I never liked it when my players would drive into a double team or to drive into traffic, and I never liked it when a ref even bailed my own player out. But yeah, once you got them on your hip and they take you from behind, absolutely it should be a foul call. So that's credit to the ref, to this reffing crew that they're going to reward good offensive play. And they're also going to reward good defensive play.
Gorley gets it in to Dove. Outside now to Gideon, who's up top. 6-point game, Dallas HSAA with a narrow lead. The drive, he'll keep it, kicks it outside. Gorley driving back to the basket. Back outside, Gideon. He's going to drive hard. He'll pull up the J at the high post. Shot hangs around. Battle for the rebound.
It's a really good look, too. He hit one of those earlier from the same spot. And I just like what they're doing here in terms of decision-making as it relates to their offensive mind here.
Jacob Tribble, who we just saw for the first time in the ballgame, came in, nearly got that rebound. He's taken right back out. Angels with it now. McCrate with it in the backcourt. 6-point lead for the Angels. They scored 21 points in the first quarter. They've only had 14 since then. The defense from the Wildcats has been exceptional in these last two quarters.
Am I wrong, or did Eli not have a face guard on in the first half?
He did have the face guard on.
He did, okay. I was thinking – I didn't remember that.
I think he did. I think he took it off though.
Oh,
he had it right at the beginning. He took it off.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, this is not what I saw earlier.
And I think that's why he was out. They were getting it fixed.
Okay.
8-point game as Dallas HSAA able to score there. Now the drive. Gorley pull-up shot, long, no good. Toller the rebound. 8-point game, 2:40 to go in the third. McCrate attacking. Using his quickness, dropping it off underneath nicely to Linskog for the finish.
Yeah, this doesn't surprise me that he's calling a timeout here, because all of a sudden Indy got away from what they were doing before, and they settled there for a shot that I'm guessing coach didn't much care for because it went away from what was making him successful over the last 4 or 5 minutes, and then on the other opposite end of the deal, they left that lane wide open, and McCrate just carved his way straight down it. So I would look for both out of this timeout. I would expect offensive and defensive adjustments by Indy, that you're gonna see him going back to that drive and kick, making sure that there's at least one, if not two, open corners, so that they can exploit that the openness of the shell defense, and then tighten up. I wouldn't be shocked to see Indy go to a zone here, because HSAA has gotten a lot of their shots from the mid-range and from inside, especially with the height advantage that HSAA has. Look for Indy maybe to go to a potential zone here.
10-point game, lead for the Angels. And now throwing it in on the baseline is going to be Eli Gorley, as full court pressure is being shown here by Dallas HSAA.
I like seeing that right there.
I couldn't tell what was happening, but
it seems like referee let the coach know something. Coach had a word or two for his player. It seemed like it was the type of stern word that was needed. I don't know what was said, but I like seeing a coach handle anytime a referee talks to him seriously.
Gideon on the drive, and there's the foul on Linskog.
It may have been something as silly as tucking your shirt. Okay, I don't know what it was
because he certainly just
did.
did.
He's still working on it, but whatever it was,
he said yes, sir.
Yep.
I'd say the same thing to Coach Carvin. He's a great guy, but he is no nonsense. And if I played for him, it would always be yes, sir.
6 points for Ben Owen and a nice left wing three there to cut it to 7. And now the Angels have the ball with Hunt. They'll feed it up top to Cash, who we're seeing for the first time. And now McCrate going to drive to the right, kick outside. Cash's corner three is long. And the rebound pulled in by Dove. He'll push the pace, and the pass going to be broken up and stolen by Linskog. Down the floor to Hunt.
That was such a good idea. You just needed a little more air underneath that.
It was a great look and almost was a dime.
Yeah.
It was so close.
Hunt on the drive, back door to Cash. Off the window, good. Andre Cash with a bucket there. A 9-point game. There's Gideon off the screen.
Yeah, here you can see the weak side is now loaded with shooters, looking for that, waiting for somebody to come in and drive and kick.
Dove. Skip to Gideon. Back over. Aaron Gorley.
You can see they want it.
Gorley, kick outside, pump fake drive from Dove. Baseline, kick out. Gideon three.
Oh.
No good long. Down floor is Hunt. Pushing the pace. McCrate.
Those are the type of looks they're looking for.
Yep, absolutely. And HSAA, you can see, is smartly slowing this game down a little bit. They do not want to run at the speed that Indy does. They would rather be in a half-court set where their size is a huge advantage.
Back out to the outside. Swing to McCrate. Going to hold the ball a little bit, under 30 seconds to play in the third. They lead by 9. Gideon guarding them.
I noticed that shirt has come right back out.
McCrate drive, under 10 seconds.
Oh, they were anticipating that.
Carter in a jump ball situation.
Very good. Indy was anticipating the drive and dish.
Nobody wanting to
give
up the jump ball.
To make a technical motion here.
Yeah, the whistle had clearly blown, and neither one of them were willing to let go of it. I think this might be a double tech. I think they're going to give tees to both. Yep.
If you're going to give out a technical, I think in the spot, if it's necessary, then a double is the way to go.
Yep.
Of course, in high schools, counts as a personal foul as well.
Well, I don't love that, but it seemed like two guys that just weren't willing.
No, they
to
were
let go of the ball, and I don't think there's much wrong with that. I think what may have escalated that a little is when the player came running in there.
Oh yeah, could have been. Yeah.
That was trying to maybe tell his teammate that it's all right, but in doing that, sometimes it escalates.
Yeah.
Things.
Oh no, I have an opinion on that. I don't like the rushing in thing because that always escalates.
That always,
Down to 2-1, the three, air ball, and that will finish out the third. The Indianapolis Wildcats are still in this ball game, folks. They trail by 9 going into the fourth quarter, but Dallas HSAA, they can't rest here because the Wildcats are on their tail.
Yeah, they chipped away. They got within 6, and were it not for the fact that they kind of got away from that game plan there for just a minute, this would still be a 6-point game. And I think at this point now it's a matter of the refs and the coaches controlling emotions more than anything else, because I think both of these teams, they need level heads in order to one, to protect the lead, and the other one to regain the lead. So they're definitely going to have to. Yeah, I don't know who the two techs were on, but I'm going to guess that they're going to be on a pretty short leash by both these coaches so that this doesn't escalate any further.
We have one more quarter of basketball. What we've seen so far, first quarter, Dallas HSAA 21-9 over the Wildcats. But then in the 2 quarters since, the Wildcats have won each the second quarter and the third quarter, winning 11-10, and then in the third quarter 12-10. But they're down by 9. That's not enough. They're going to have to win by at least 10 points here.
But they were
or
down,
at least 9 points here.
Yeah, they were down more than this at this juncture against KC East yesterday. So this is not unfamiliar territory for them. They, I don't think they get rattled by this. They've, you know, it's interesting when you're used to coming back. These fourth quarter deficits don't scare you near as enough as a team that is always used to being ahead. So I think HSAA knows they got to keep their composure, and they got to stay focused, or this game could get away from them quick. I mean, we saw that in the last game with Manhattan and Tennessee going at it, and it literally turned in the span of about 2 minutes.
Will the Wildcats pull off the magic again? We'll see here in the fourth quarter. We have a whistle inside.
I think those are the two that were hung up on the jump ball there, so that may be a factor in that call there.
That'll be Carter's third.
I'm surprised that Davis is not on the court at this point, with him only having 2 fouls, and with I think is it Carter?
Carter.
That is might have a little bit of elevated emotions right now.
Well, you know, I think that sometimes you kind of ride with what's hot.
Yeah.
And I feel like with HSAA right now, the continuities with the group that they've got out there.
Is this symbolic here, Trellis? They're like, we're good. No, Carvin says, no, you are not.
That's his fourth because I believe he was involved in the technical.
Yep, I think you're right.
Because it was him and was it Gurley?
Yeah.
That were involved in the jump ball. And when coach pulled him out, he said he gave him the motion like he had 4 fouls.
Yes.
Now, technicals are extremely costly in high school basketball because you also, of course, that's a double technical, a little different, but you have the 2 shots in the ball as well as being a personal foul. They don't let you get away with it.
Everyone watches the NBA game, but they don't really penalize you too much in the NBA until you get a bunch of them.
One shot, and whoever had the ball back gets the ball back, and it doesn't count as a personal foul.
Yeah. Gorley had a really good look at that last 3 that would have brought him back within 6, and I can see his frustration. He was over there clapping his hands. He could tell that was a wide open look that he doesn't get too many of in this game.
McCrate, the drive to the basket, and he's fouled.
Just so good. He knew
Great
exactly
there.
when to put this guy on his hip and go. That was fantastic drive there by McCrate.
Nate Dove going to pick up the foul. It'll be his first. 2 shots here for Braylon McCrate. He's got 4 points on the ball game, but he's done so much for this Angels team and keeping them organized from the point guard position. 7:02 to play in the ball game.
Yeah.
Free throw goes down.
You can tell McCrate is the floor captain here. Is that he is fully in control of his team and very aware of where his teammates are. And it's a big reason why they're up.
Second free throw does not go for McCrate. It's a 10-point game. A drive in the post. Turning around, kick outside.
There we go.
Swing, corner 3 on the way. It's long air
Good
ball,
tip.
rebound Hayes.
That was tipped by 44. Is that Linskog? Yeah.
Well, man, it would have really been long. McCrate with it up top. 6.5 minutes to go in the game. 10-point lead for the Angels. Swing from Sanders to Toller. Out to McCrate. Hayes.
Indy doing a really good job of keeping them out of the paint right now and forcing them into some outside shots. The only thing they got to button up is McCrate's drive.
McCrate drive to the left.
Yeah, see no gap there.
He'll put up the floater. It's no good. It's tipped and rebounded.
Really
and the
good.
Wildcats on the move.
Really good.
Picks up his dribble, kick outside. Wing 3,
It was
no
tipped
good.
again.
And that
should be on the Wildcats player, I believe.
Was a nasty collision, folks. I hope that all these guys are okay. I don't know what the call's going to be.
Isaiah Sanders got in there and got another tip on a 3. Their closeouts are just so quick. These guys think they're open, and their release is just a hair slower than what it needs to be because HSAA is so quick to get to the defense. That is 2 straight threes that were deflected.
Well, I thought that was on a Wildcats player because it looked like they just kind of came running in and created a collision there, but the referee apparently had a different perspective.
They called it on Lindskog. What a great inbounds play once again for the bucket and one from Dove.
Well-designed play there on the dive. That was a double screen. That was the first one was picked up, the second one was not, and it was a wide open layup. And again, the lone defender was behind him.
Dove's first bucket of the game, and that'll make that 3 points for him. Lead's cut to 7, and they've got plenty of time with 5:50 to go. Toller up the floor. Guarded. Getting across half. Bounce pass to McCrate.
Yeah, I think this is the right move to go to a little bit of half-court pressure.
Drive inside, the floater off the backboard. There will be a foul. We'll see 2 shots.
It's just so difficult when you're not playing a straight shell here and you're playing a lot of on man. There's no gaps, and McCrate can read those when he sees that he's got an opening there. He's willing to take anybody a one-on-one because he knows that he's either going to finish with a foul or finish with a basket. And this is, every defense has its weakness, and the weakness of a straight man defense is that there's not much gap help, and but if you go to that gap help, it leaves a lot of openings for outside shots. So Indy's clearly chosen here to try and stay as close to the man as possible.
McCrate hits them both. He's got 7, 9-point game. Those are big free throws for the Angels. A drive from Dove, kick out, swing to Gideon. Outside, getting the screen up top.
Ooh, nice move
through the lane. He puts up the float. He missed it, though. And Sanders pulls down the board. Oh, that's a tough miss, but what a move.
What a beautiful highlight that would have been.
And it would have cut it to 7. But the lead's still at 9 for the Angels. It's over 5 minutes to go. McCrate on the move against Dove. He'll pull it out to the outside. Hayes driving. Floater off the window, no good. The follow from Lindskog is not there either. Rebound.
Yeah, you got to give credit to Aaron Gurley there. He closed on that baseline on that drive at the baseline, which prevented McCrate from scoring. Beautiful drive there.
Nice play from Gideon, giving him 10 points, cutting the lead to 7.
This is right where they need to stay. They find a way to just stay right in that area where one run and it can shift it all. HSAA could use a run right now, and maybe that's what Coach Holcomb's going to talk about.
Timeout called by the Angels here.
Yeah, I think Carvin's likely going to talk about more lane penetration. You see that these gaps by Indy are really, really wide, and that HSAA might be trying to make it a little harder than it needs to be. I know they don't want to lean too hard on McCrate, but right now he's doing exactly what he needs to do in getting to the basket and drawing fouls. So I think Coach is telling them more of the same. And if I'm the Indy coach, I'm telling them we've got to run a little bit more high pressure when McCrate has the ball. When he doesn't, it's okay to move away from those gaps. But McCrate is just so quick and so dangerous that they've got to have those high gaps.
7-point ball game with just over 4.5 minutes to go.
I feel like with the way the Wildcats have been playing and the way the HSA has been playing, and both these teams navigating some foul trouble, if this is a 5-point game when we get to the 3-minute mark, I think it's anyone's game. Right now, I feel like HSA's got it, obviously a 7-point lead, so they have quite an edge here, but they also have looked like the better team most of the game.
Yeah, but yeah, you're exactly right. If Indy can put together,
looks like they teed up the bench.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, no, maybe a substitution.
No, he fouled.
I think maybe he wasn't.
He didn't
like
check
they're
in.
Sending him.
He might not have checked in.
Yeah, there's something that they pulled a player off the bench and stuck a player that was on the court at the clock or to check in. So
That's
They're
interesting.
saying he's going to have to wait. I haven't really seen this.
I think that must be because he'd already handed the ball to the player, and he still substituted him. I believe that's what happened.
Here's the drive from Hayes. Sanders. Toller. Now McCrate with it. Driving to the right. Throws it up high for Linskog, and there will be a foul at the peak.
And
a foul will
unfortunately,
be on
that's his
Gideon.
fourth. That's Gideon's fourth.
And at this point, he just got to
Yeah, you
live
gotta-
with it and play through
Yeah,
it.
you got to ride him out. But the problem is that he cannot be anywhere near McCrate on a drive, which means that you've got to move him to the other side of the court, which kind of begs going to some type of a matchup zone to keep Gideon on the court.
I think
First free throw does not go for Linskog.
I think that if that was the NBA game, we all know the motion that the player would have made right then and there. the motion that didn't even exist 10 years ago, but that challenge that motion.
Oh yeah.
The instant challenge motion. And honestly, I think if we watched it 100 times, I'm not sure we would know what even an NBA referee might see on a replay.
5 points for Linskog as he hits the second 8-point game. Dove with it for the Wildcats. Under 4 minutes to go. Dove will get the screen here. Working around to the right. Driving to the right. Nice move. Pump fake. Puts it up. It does not go.
Oh.
Linskog the rebound. Tough break for the Wildcats there.
Yeah, that was a really good drive there.
They're great on the kick out to Carter. He'll work it from the left side of the floor.
Ooh.
Back up top, McCrate. Outside, Hayes. Hayes driving baseline, feeding it inside Linskog to the basket, and he shoves it into the basket
Boy,
there.
that was a
Nice
pretty
to see
move
him
there.
score a bucket after all these rebounds he's been pulling in.
Yeah.
He's been a pivotal part of this fourth quarter here with the way he's been rebounding.
Lead back up to 10. Three-pointer banks in good.
Did he call the bank on that one?
I don't think he cares. It spends just as well.
That's right. It's it's only a 7-point game. I think it's an interesting chess match that's going on here between the coaches of what they're calling. I do believe Indy has done a really good job of sticking with this drive and dish mentality. Yes, you're not gonna cash on all of them, but sometimes you need those little lucky bank shots there to go in to kind of turn it and move it. Like we said before, they only need, if they could go 2 straight possessions with scoring and 2 straight possessions preventing HSAA from scoring, this is a 3 to 4 point game, and that's all they need with 2 minutes or so left in the game. And so with 3:12 left, all they've got to do is really focus on the defensive side of how they're going to deal with, quite honestly, with McCrate, because everything kind of runs through him. And if you can control him and keep him out of the lane, that also kind of subsequently prevents those low post players from getting those easy buckets.
7-point game lead for the Angels here. They've led the entire ball game. And the Wildcats trying to sneak up on them and get the win and head to the Elite Eight here.
Every whistle right now is going to be important because we got a lot of players out there that are navigating some foul issues, or some key players, I should say.
Linskog. Back to Hayes. Down the floor, Linskog, guarded by Gideon. Back outside. Hayes driving, dropping it off to Carter. Carter at the basket. And he scores, and there was a man underneath the goal.
Yeah, that's really good of the refs just to try and keep control. No foul. There was incidental contact. But
I think there's something here. Nope.
No, I think they just wanted to make sure that didn't escalate. That was a good job by the ref.
Excellent use of the whistle.
Here's Gideon on the left side of the floor. 9-point game. 2:45 to go. Dove driving, kick out. Corner 3 on the way. Back rim no good. Linskog pulls down the rebound to McGrate.
Yeah, that was another great executed play. But they're going to have to make a concerted effort to dive for those offensive boards.
That's the right
What a
call.
Gonna be a
floater from
charge.
McGrate, but it's an offensive foul. And great job there by Eli Gorley setting that one up, and that'll be McCrate's first foul.
Eli has done a really good job of sealing on the baseline. That's twice in a row now that he has been able to prevent McCrate from a wide open drive. The one ended up in a bad shot, and that one ended up in a charge. So kudos to Gorley for really kind of shoring up that lower side off the McCrate drive.
Wildcats ball. Up top, Gorley, nice spin, ball's loose, McCrate the steal. HSAA on the run, nice drop off to the basket, and Linskog with the finish and spills out on the floor for the and one, and an 11-point lead for Dallas.
Wow.
That's a tough finish.
Yeah, and like you said, Rob, Linskog, he's done so much on the boards that now he's seemingly kind of putting the finishing touches on this game. If Indy's not careful, we were if you were an Indy fan, you're hoping that they were going to be able to convert, and instead the exact opposite happened. HSAA was able to convert on 2 straight possessions.
Yeah, I think the referees are going to continue to have to use their whistles just to keep the level of intensity these teams are playing with and what's on the line is definitely coming through even in these closing minutes.
J.C. Linskog now in double figures. Gideon making his move. He's blocked.
Yeah, he had a guy wide open in the corner, but I know he wants to be able to do what he can for his team.
McCrate going up the sideline. It was deflected out of bounds. Will stay with HSA.
I will say this for Gideon, though. He is incredibly physically talented and probably has a lot of success with that move down low.
Oh, absolutely. He had 2 guys on him there, and that makes it a little bit harder to get the shot off.
He still was able to penetrate in at least 2 or 3 feet.
And I think he had at least one in the air. It's just when you have 2 guys that you're trying to pump fake, it makes it a little harder.
Yeah, and now HSAA is going to go to a stretch play where they're basically going to draw the Indy defense out so that they can have even wider driving lanes. And this is tough when you get to a minute and a half and you got to pick your poison. You either put them on the foul line and hope that they miss, or you've got to play aggressive and hope they make a mistake or a turnover. And this is probably not the guy you want to put at the line. I think I don't have my stat sheet in front of me, but I think he's been perfect from the line tonight.
McCrate with 8 points now. And he is been very good from the free throw line. 5 of 5.
McCrate has really been Mr. Everything tonight. You gotta kind of hand the player of the game kudos to him. Oh, what a beautiful drive, though. Wow.
Nice move for Gideon there. He's got 12. Cutting the lead to 12. But just over a minute to go. Not a lot of time to come back from that deficit. Here's the finish at the basket for Linskog, who's got 12 points.
The Wildcat fans looking for that call there. And honestly, it did look like number 20 there.
Dove looked like he took a charge there.
Did look set, but on the pass, it's one of the hardest things. Referees oftentimes follow the pass, just like us as fans do.
Yeah.
And yes, as a coach and player and fan, you always want them to watch all the way through. But
especially the three-point shooter.
Yes.
You hate it when those guys come and stick feet underneath them, or is a bad closeout, and the ref's already looking at the ball going in the hoop.
Yeah.
So I think
quick bucket there by HSAA. Expect to take the lead to 14.
Yeah.
10 for Gorley. He's got another one to cut it to 12 under a minute to go.
Yeah, unfortunately for Indy, it's just a little too late. I think there was just a little bit too much McCrate, and at the end, Linskog kind of put it away.
HSA able to get the loose change there.
They're in danger of a 10-point.
Looked like a pivot change there.
Yeah, I don't know if he did or didn't, but I thought they were dangerously close to a 10-second count there.
Dove going to pick up his third. And now Hayes will shoot 2 shots. And
Yeah.
first one goes down.
HSA, what we've seen in a lot of these games, not just at the varsity level, but I know even some of our teams in the younger divisions, so many of these close games come down to free throws, and these leading teams have to hit the free throws. And it's just great to see these guys that clearly work on their free throws, knowing how important they are down the stretch at every age. I mean, we've seen it at even the 12U and the 10U level. So that's a credit to the coaches who really work with their guys on just these kind of situations at the end of the game.
And it appears Dallas HSA will head on to the next round. And you're talking about a team that last year they lost in the D1 D2 play-in game to the Indianapolis Northwest Warriors, and so now they're in the position where they're able to make it to the Elite Eight here.
So Rob,
at Nationals.
What I don't know if you saw the HEA MHEA game earlier. Will they match up size-wise with HSAA?
Size-wise, I'm not so sure. I felt like in both teams matched up. MHEA and HEA matched up fairly well, but I didn't necessarily feel like size was was their strength. I was watching it from the live stream, so it's a little hard to gauge size there. The PT Warriors didn't look as big as they really are. So
wow, I tell you what, I just saw the PT guys last night for the first time, and I think they might be bigger than they were with Toby last year.
Collectively
they have a lot more size than they had before, and I think PT. I don't know if PT and HSAA would face each other before Friday, but if they do, that will be a really, really interesting matchup because those are probably two of the bigger teams. Tennessee obviously has number 12, who is also quite an imposing figure, and he's very talented around the rim. And a lot of these teams have kind of that one really talented big, but both PT and HSAA have multiple talented bigs.
Yeah, that
would be a really cool matchup to see, if not in the national championship game in the in one of these games before.
Yeah, and HEA, what I would say about them was they drew up some really timely inbounds plays, and from the sideline and from underneath the basket, and they use timeouts really well. And so I'd say coaching is one of their strengths.
That's huge. In close games, those are the keys. You don't run a whole lot in today's basketball game. There's not a whole lot of half-court sets that get run on a regular basis at a varsity level. So when you have those in your hip pocket at those critical times, whether they're inbound plays, whether they're half-court sets, those are so critical in those close games to be able to lean on something where the guys go, okay, we're comfortable, we know what we're supposed to do, and we should be able to get an open look that the other team's not expecting. So that's really cool to see that's how HEA was able to win that game.
So about 20 seconds or so game time ago, I went back and watched the situation where the fans and the players had a little bit of a disagreement. It did look like the HSA player actually tripped over his own teammate's foot. But I had the benefit of replay on that.
Yeah.
And so I think that may have been what that discussion with the referees may have been about.
Okay. So we got an 11-point game here. 27.5 seconds. Dallas didn't like the look, and so they called another timeout. They'll get it into Carter here in the corner of the court. Pressure from the Wildcats. McCrate getting it out of there to Hayes. Hayes to McCrate into the front court. Toller, McCrate losing the ball. Hayes with it. Coming around, feeding it over Toller, and there will be a foul with 11 seconds left. 11-point game. Aaron Gorley picking up the foul, and Hudson Hayes to the free throw line.
And he's not the guy you want to. You don't want to foul him either. He and McCrate, I think, have both been perfect from the line tonight.
So HSAA going to be heading to the next round to take on the HEA Firebirds, which will be quite the matchup there. And it should be interesting to see. Obviously, that will be tomorrow on right here on this YouTube channel. So definitely check it out. You got to tune in tomorrow. We got a lot of gold ball games, which will be awesome. Under 10 seconds to go. Pull up 3, hit it in transition was Gorley.
Boy, that looked effortless.
That's smart on HSA's part. They don't even have to bring it in.
And time will run out. 60-50 is the final score. The Indianapolis Wildcats, they hung around in the ball game, but Dallas HSAA led the entire ball game, and they continued on to the finish. And so we got a final score of 60-50, a win for the Angels. They're on to the next round. And folks, we appreciate you joining us here live from Drury University. We'll be back tomorrow with more games. Good night.